Welcome to the MWR podcast at Fort Carson.
Welcome to the MWR podcast. I'm here today with Mike Rose from the CYS Sports. Mike, welcome. I'm so stoked about this topic we're going to be talking about.
Yes, I am too. I was so glad that you asked me here.
Yes. Okay, so for our audience, I was clueless about this Colorado culture based around disc golf. So, first of all, what is disc golf?
Okay, the breakdown is simply it's golf, but we're throwing flat discs at it.
Okay.
So we've all seen those traditional Frisbees that we grew up with, right?
Yeah.
Well, other people back in those days were growing up with them and competing with them professionally. You can go back as early as the late 70s and early 80s and watch nationally televised competitions on distance throws.
Wow.
And a lot of their throws are crazy. They'll do spin around throws to get the power and all that. They could throw it the length of a football field. So if you think about 300 yards on a big, basically plate that they're throwing, that's incredible. Now the discs these days have been redesigned. They're smaller. You have a driver, you have a mid-range, and you have a putter. So you have the separation now and back then disc golf was only one facet. The other facets was tricks, to spin them and freestyle.
Yeah.
You had distance, complete power and distance. You had style.
Okay.
So you could get the disc to do different things.
All right.
So they had a broad spectrum back then, and then disc golf was one piece of that.
Okay.
Some point in the 80s, early 90s, disc golf separated and turned into its own thing.
Okay.
And it's been its own thing since and growing.
Okay, so there's actual, like we have golf courses, disc golf courses, and so these are kind of hoops and trees and things like that. Can you explain that aspect?
Okay.
I'm clueless.
Yes, on the course itself. Now there are hybrids that have both. They'll take a traditional golf course and then they'll put baskets up on it. I've seen professional players play on courses that have the greens from a traditional golf course, but it's out of bounds. You can't land on the greens.
Oh.
So those become OB. When you get all these OBs, that's when the game gets tricky because that costs you a stroke. If you land on the green, it costs you a stroke. But you can skip off the green. As long as you're not laying on it, you're good.
Wow, okay.
So on a traditional golf course, my favorite course is down in Fountain. It's close to where I live, and so I practice a lot there. It's Cumberland Green.
Okay.
It's just the opposite way of the high school. So if you go down there, you'll see it's a great beginner course for anybody on Fort Carson. It's the best place to go to learn the game.
Okay.
Not only will you get an easier course, which there are some big holes, but the smaller holes are what we train on. So traditionally speaking, you'll meet a lot of people out there. That's what I like about it. And I always play with somebody better than you. That's the best advice I could give somebody. Play with somebody better than you because you will play better. That's generally how it works.
Yeah.
That's how I got better.
Yeah.
I'm 6 years in and I'm still not that great.
Yeah.
But I love it. And I have 11 aces in 6 years. So that's 11 holes in one in disc golf terms. So I put it in the basket in one throw 11 times.
Oh, wow.
A buddy I play with stopped counting at 100 aces.
Oh, my gosh.
And I play with him quite often. He's my nemesis, but I love him. He's a great guy. But he's so good. And it's all technique. It's not about your body build. It's not about your strength.
Yeah.
It's not about your speed. It's all technique.
Okay.
So there's a woman's disc golf league and a man's disc golf league. Those are starting to blend because the genders, a woman can throw it just as far as a man if her technique is strong.
Right.
And she pulls through. Those types of things are what creates the momentum to send the disc spinning. So it's such a diverse sport. You walk around Cumberland Green and you'll see someone in their 60s or 50s in my case, 60s, all the way down to a 16-year-old that spanked our butts one night with 16 under on an 18
Oh my
whole
goodness.
course. He shot 1600 under.
Yeah.
So, and the rest of us, we were all ages from 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, everybody was represented.
Yeah.
This 16-year-old owned us all.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and he was a
Yeah.
little guy. He wasn't
Yeah.
a big guy at all.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. It brings up the culture of the disc golf. It's not like we think of golf as, you have to have the outfit and you have like very strict standards on the courses. Here in Colorado, everybody is like relaxed, chill. This kind of reflects that
Yes.
that opportunity. You get out there, you have fun, you're still out in the environment and everything.
Yes, you show your Colorado. You
Yes,
shine.
yes.
And that's what I love about disc golf is that it's not boxed in. It's becoming professional. There's a YouTube site called Jomez that if you go to JOMEZ, they basically are the pre-professionals. They've had their YouTube channel for about 10 years now. It's now picked up by CBS. So CBS is giving them lots of money. So their graphics are awesome, their camera angles are awesome, everything's great, and it looks like you're watching real golf finally.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where before, I've seen them walk along and commentate while the players are playing.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
that was back in the day.
Yeah.
They've grown a lot. So it's really, this sport is getting ready to be the next big sport
Okay.
in professional standing.
Well, speaking of that, because
Mm-hmm.
of course on post we have our Olympic training area
Mm-hmm.
already, so we have some disc golf on Fort Carson,
Yes,
correct?
we do.
All
we
right.
do. Over by Outdoor Rec, there's
Okay.
9 baskets that have been
All
put
right.
there. They were put there by previous staff from about 10 years ago.
Okay.
So they've been there a long time. Not a lot of people know about them, though.
Yeah.
But if you look up on the hill, you'll see them. I
Okay.
call it the Billy Goat course.
Okay.
Because it's up and down and up and down, and a lot of baskets you can't even see until after you've thrown at them. So you really have to watch your map. Where's the basket? Throw toward it.
Okay.
And usually you're pretty close. The most interesting feature of that one is the last hole. You start down at the bottom of the hill on hole 1, you work your way around the mountain. The last hole, hole 9, is at the top where the water tower is. You're literally 5 feet away from the fence.
I had no idea.
And you're throwing down.
Wow.
Yes,
That's
I made it
intense.
halfway on my throw. So it's needless to say, that's a big throw,
Okay.
that last throw.
Okay.
But it's a great course. I took my cart. Do not take your cart for any reason. Just take a little bag, carry it with you because there's no place for wheels to function out there.
Okay.
Also, over by Iron Horse Park, there's a semicircle
Mm-hmm.
of baskets. I assume they're set up just for practice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So you can just check your distances and practice your putting or practice your driving, but it's the canvas type baskets.
Okay.
The baskets on the Billy Goat course are actual real baskets, so it's
Okay.
all metal, made out of chains and all that.
Okay, yeah, because this is something like I'm from the East Coast, Pennsylvania. I've not run into disc golf, so I'll see something like this on post. I'm like, what is that? I don't know, and so that's why I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
we have opportunity to practice, and that's great for our our youth kids
Mm-hmm.
to go out and on their own too.
Great
things
point.
Like that.
I'm actually working on putting together a team at the youth center
Awesome.
to take to the Rocky Mountain State Games next year.
Yes.
I would have done it this year, but for obvious reasons, we didn't have a lot of numbers to draw on. But the previous 2 years, I did take my Pool Sharks, my billiards club, and they took gold, silver, and bronze the first year, and then silver and bronze the second year.
All right.
I'm excited to take them back as well. So I want
Yeah.
to take 2 teams to the Rocky Mountain State Games. We also do track with youth sports. We also take, I think it's field sports in general.
Okay.
And we try to participate in Rocky Mountain State Games as much as possible because those kids walk away as state champions.
Yeah.
When they have that medal,
Yeah.
it's
And that's so important
Yeah.
in the developmental stage and
yes,
everything.
something
That's
for them to
awesome.
be super proud of.
Yeah.
And I'm curious myself how the tournament's going to run for Rocky Mountain State Games.
Yeah.
So-
well, maybe you can have the input in it, right?
Well, hopefully I could participate.
Yes.
The first year, because this is the first year they've included it.
Okay.
So that's just another indication of where it's going. Everybody's getting its attention, and it's time for disc golf to take a stand. I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years if we don't see it in the Olympics.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Because
a good
it's an
point.
individual sport, but it can also be played as a team sport.
Oh yeah.
We play
I
what's
never
called
heard that.
dubs, where
Okay.
we'll have 6 players. Well, no, let's say we have 10 players.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody flips their disc, and the discs that match divide out, and then they flip them again until it's down to, okay, you two, you two, you two, you two. So you
Oh,
got
that's
5
awesome.
teams. Those 5 teams take turns. You keep the best ball, essentially the closest one to the pin. Both people putt from that,
That's a good
and then your score
point.
racks up from there
Okay.
as a team. And you can run that team, the Dubs program. We run it at night as well.
Oh,
Yes.
like glow?
Glow golf. Yes.
yeah.
Glow golf is awesome.
See, this is like the fun aspect of,
Oh, yeah.
of Colorado and getting out there and feeling that nighttime
Well,
air.
and in
playing.
Colorado, the nighttime is super nice compared to some of the warm days.
Yeah.
So what I've found at night as well, and I don't know why, but I shoot better at night, and this could be one of the factors, is the wind dies down quite a bit.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that because
you
we're
get a
dealing with the
stillness.
desert, alpine desert climate.
So you get a little bit of stillness to work with, and then your discs actually start behaving. If you're working in a wind, you've got to choose your disc carefully. That's why there's so many varieties of types of discs out there, because it's usually to combat the wind. Either you're throwing with the wind, against the wind, across the wind.
Yeah.
You never know what you're dealing with. So you'll see most disc golfers have 20 to 30 discs in their bag that they're carrying. I've got mine narrowed down to where I use about 8 to 10 different discs. And
Okay.
I like to carry those. Now I have 50,000 that I've bought. They're all over the place. I've got bags full. That's just part of it. Everybody knows any hobby you pick up, you're always going to have a bunch of excess stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
discs are one of those things. But-
Yes. Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is when you hit an ace, anybody that witnessed it has to sign it. So then your discs become collectible.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you get this signed disc with all your buddies' names on it and the name, the date, and sweet ace on hole 11 or whatever. And you're like, I love this. And then you take it home and you hang it up and you display it. So
It's
you've
like your
retired that
memories.
disc. You got to find one that flies like that again.
Yeah.
So that's really the trick, is keeping that consistency, because they tell you your throw never changes, whether it's sidearm or backhand. It never changes. The disc changes.
Got
That's it. If you want to throw more of a hyzer, you lean your waist. You don't lower your arm. You lean your waist and do the exact same
Okay.
pull. So the instructional piece of it is get this repetition down first. The pull, pull, pull.
Yeah.
Pulling through, turning your body, pull, spin, pull, spin. Once you got
it.
that, if you want to throw an anhyzer, you lean back. A
Ah.
hyzer, you lean forward.
Whoa, these are like terms. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm getting
hyzer
into
and
it.
an anhyzer.
Yeah.
A hyzer is essentially one that's going to come back, because it's always going to come back to the left if you throw it this way, or
Okay.
back to the right if you throw it that way.
Got
An
it.
anhyzer is you working against that. So if
Got
it's
it.
going to come back this way, I'm going to lean the disc like this.
Wow,
So
so
it
you-
comes out of my hand like this and has to work back.
Wow.
That equals more distance, because
All
it takes
right.
it longer to come back.
All right.
Or if I just throw it like this, they call that a meat hook. It's just going to come in and hit, which is usable. Every shot is usable.
That would be mine every time.
Well, because they get real crafty where they place the baskets. They're like in
Yeah.
between 4 trees. And
Oh
you're
my
like,
gosh.
really? I'm supposed to hit that? Really? No. You're not
But
supposed
that's
to hit it.
fun part of it. It's not
Truly.
like this wide open normal golf course, you know. So that's
Where you see the
definitely-
flag in the distance and you know
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But they have come out with range finders and things like that, to where you can range find the basket, figure out exactly how far it is. You test the wind, okay,
Oh my
and throw.
goodness.
One professional I always recommend to check out. Well, my personal favorite is Simon Lizotte. Check him out. He's a distance champion. The guy's amazing. Some of the stuff he does is on God level. It's not human. There's no way. And then, of course, the 5-time champion, Paul Macbeth.
Okay.
Paul Macbeth is probably one of the most stoic players you'll ever watch play. He'll have a bad day and you'll never know it.
Wow.
Except from the shots.
Okay.
Where there's a couple of disc golf players, most of us, we can't control our reactions. Ah! So they say, throw, swear, find your disc, throw again.
That's awesome.
So,
Oh, that's funny. Well, we'll definitely put some of those resources in with our podcast and
Yes,
everything. So,
yes.
but thank you so much for giving us
you're
the
welcome.
overview and this Colorado culture.
I hope I inspired someone to go out and try it, because I personally have never, well, a couple times I played real golf. This is leaps and bounds above real golf. To me, this is the wave of the future. So I'm hoping that everybody gets on board and it becomes like classical music was during the Renaissance. Everybody reads music, everybody throws discs.
Yeah. Let's
would be
go for
great.
it.
I
Thank
love
you
it.
so much.
Thank you, Megan.